Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Millennial Real Talk podcast, episode 10. I think we're on 10, right?
Yeah.
Got a few topics here today. But yeah, anything going on this week to report, real estate related or otherwise?
So this week has been I'll just cut that out. But no, this week has been pretty good. So actually, little off schedule. The wife is a teacher. Wife had 2 days of work off, or one. I don't even remember at this point. So a little different there. But we're just trying to stay busy with the market being so different. Everyone in the industry is so much slower than we were over the past 3 years. So we're just trying to stay busy. Had a listing. The team's listing went under agreement. Had the home inspection yesterday. Went well. Besides that, it got a couple buyers coming back out into the market. I think they kind of realized the interest rates. It is what it is. If they want to buy, they're going to have to bite the bullet. And they're coming back out. I actually had on the way here 2 different clients want to look at 3 different homes. So I'm going to set that up after this podcast. And that's how the week's going. It's going well overall. A little off schedule, like I said. How's your week going? Anything good?
It's been pretty slow. I mean, I had a couple of deals fall apart. That was actually last week too. So, it's been slower than usual. Not the 2020, 2021 red hot market it was for sure. So we got a couple of topics here today. Just going to go through. First one is, you can go first, but I'll. Yeah.
And just while you're opening up the phone, I know one of the things I wanted to touch on, because I feel like it's I was curious before I got into real estate, and when I was new and wasn't busy and didn't have a full day, I was always curious to know what a busy day looks like. What's a realtor's day look like? Because they can make their own schedule and things. Typically, what my day looks like right now. Work stuff. I'll get to the coffee shop early in the morning. I'll do the same coffee shop every day. At the same time, so I can see the same people come in and out, become a regular there, see familiar faces, try and talk real estate and build maybe a little network there. After the coffee shop, we'll get back to the office, whether it's at home or the Coldwell Banker office or whatever that is. I'll do some cold calling for about 2 hours, catch up on some emails, do whatever I have to do on the computer. Then put the computer down around 11:30, have lunch, go to the gym. Now it's about 1 o'clock. And then I'll start getting back to the computer, or I'll start going face to face with clients, showing homes, going to home inspections, and that's kind of what the day looks like. Then, or maybe around 6 o'clock, more showings. About 7 o'clock, you get back home. Maybe I'll finish up some emails you have and have some dinner. And
what about like events or anything? Are those part of probably not every day?
They're part of the business plan, but the day-to-day schedule, you could be at one every day if you wanted, as you know.
Yeah, I know.
But I try and go to them to I try and go to the close referral partners I have. If there's some loan officers or someone I'm really close to, I'll go and support them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you can't go to all of them. I mean, just between showings and life in general, and it's tough. So
pretty much just wanted to touch on that real quick while you're getting the phone open. But
so what would you say? I mean, I have a few in my head anyway, but a few seller tips. You're thinking about selling your home. What do you think's most important, or just a few tips in general?
I'll let you start here.
So all right, yeah.
What are some seller tips that you would suggest to a seller or anyone watching that's going to be selling?
I think the first thing is just just 2 things. First would be I just think I would interview a couple of real estate agents. I think that's really important. And I would say a lot of some real estate agents are going to come in and they're going to say I can list your home for $50,000 more than the last person. I would say not necessarily that's really shouldn't be what shouldn't be your deciding factor, because at the end of the day, how's this going to sell, what it's going to sell for. I think things like experience, and I think your camaraderie, how you get along with the real estate agent, and things of that nature are definitely stuff you should look for. But I think a lot of sellers, they just think, oh, he said he can get this price for it. I mean, at the end of the day, the market's gonna dictate the value anyway. So, just, people get excited when they say that. I mean, unless the agent is literally,
Right.
trying to buy your home right then, I mean, they can say whatever they want, so, but yeah, those are just a couple
Yeah, I
things,
think
but
if I had to interview someone to sell my house, my personal home, I would go online, pick 3 to 5 real estate agents that sold the most homes. Not, it doesn't even have to be within that area, because I want to argue, it's really not an important question to say, have you sold a lot of homes in this area? Are you really familiar with this area? I mean, maybe for selling points, when buyers are walking in, you want to be able to say, oh, there's a nice fresh market a mile from here, it's a beautiful area. But at the end of the day, if you have the marketing down, you have the systems in place, and you know how to read, you know how to properly assess the value of a home, do you really need to know the area? I don't know. But that being said, I would interview I would pick 5 agents with the best track record. Then I would read their bios, see if I kind of connect with them in any way. For example, if I'm reading there's 10 real estate agents here who sold over 100 homes in 1 year, and one person mentions the Patriots. Oh, I'm definitely gonna check him off to interview. If one mentions golfing, I'm not gonna mention. I'm not gonna check. I'm not gonna give him a call. I'm not into golfing. So, I mean, I would read their bios, see because you want to personally connect with them. You're going to be working with them. You want to be
yeah.
able to get along. So, I want to pick someone who has the experience, someone I can get along with, and then I'll test out their communication skills by sending them a few texts and emails, carry a conversation with them, see how quick they can get back to me. If, I have if I send them an email and it takes them 24 hours to respond to one of my emails, and that happens kind of 3 days in a row, I'd be like, man, maybe his communication skills aren't the best. I want someone who's going to answer me within the next, 3 hours. I send them a message, and then I kind of just interview them, see if we can connect in person, and then that's really all I would do. I wouldn't ask them questions of, what are you going to do for me, this and that, because I'm looking at their track record online. I already know how many homes they sold. They're obviously successful. I don't need to have them prove it to me. I think the track record online says enough. That's what I would do. Another seller tip I have, though, is you want to declutter your home. The less objects in a room, in a house, the home's going to appear bigger, and that's what buyers want. Space. The more space, the better, I would say, for the most part.
Yeah, I think a lot of people's idea of decluttering too. I gotta say this because, like,
Yeah.
my idea, your idea, everyone's idea. I would listen to your real estate agent because he might declutter. Some people's idea, the house is full of crap and they move 2 boxes out. Like, I would actually listen to your real estate agent because everyone has a different, take on that. Some people are, obviously, we know, like, some
Yeah.
people are more slobs, some people
Right.
aren't.
And
It
the
is
tip
what
for
it
the
is.
sellers here, since we're on the top, this kind of brings it all full circle. When you sell a house, you have to leave it and convey it, give it to the new buyers in broom clean condition in Rhode Island. That's the wording in the contract. Now, like you were saying, everyone's idea of broom clean is different.
Yeah.
So again, reach out to have your agent take a look at the property before they have that final walkthrough and make sure it's really just got to be free and clear of all of your personal belongings. If you have one bag of coffee beans you want to leave behind, that's got to go. It's your personal belonging. It has to be out. It's pretty much that. You don't have to Windex the mirror. You don't have to sweep the floor. You just make sure there's no personal belongings in it. No trash, no clothes, no furniture, and you
Yeah.
should be good.
Yeah, do you think, like, the final walkthrough, obviously broom clean condition, can't have any items in it, but as far as, like, showing the house, as far as
Yes.
cleanliness, the
Yeah,
smell,
right.
I don't know if you have
Yeah.
an opinion on that, because
So it's
I
kind
know
of
I do.
it's funny. Yeah, I actually tell the sellers that they don't want to be cooking really before the showing. If you're cooking fish, seafood, and
Anything,
strong
really.
scent, you want to
Yeah.
walk into a home and it smells like candles. Beautiful smell. If it's the fall, put a pumpkin candle on. Whatever it is, you don't want to walk in, buyers coming to buy your house, and it smells like
Cigarettes.
seafood, just different odors that aren't lovely smelling.
Yeah.
So
it
that's
can
tip
it can
one.
turn a it can turn a
Yes.
buyer right off. I mean, you could I'd argue you could lose 20 to 40,000, I mean, like, people just get turned off by stuff
Yep,
like that.
definitely. I would work on decluttering, as in, countertops should be nothing on your countertops. Nothing. If you have a toaster, put it in a cabinet. Nothing should be on your countertops. Clean countertops, things like that. Curb appeal is important to me too. If you have overgrown grass, it's not going to show well for photos or in person.
Yep.
If you have no mulch or when you have weeds, it's not going to show well. If you have bushes that are overgrown and not trimmed and hedged nice, it's not going to show well. If you have a white vinyl fence but there's all green on it, power wash it so it's clean. It'll show a lot nicer. Just some small minor things like that goes a long way.
Yeah, I mean, you spend, even if, I know not everyone loves to like I think you should be doing a deep clean on your house. I mean, if you don't like to do that, that's fine. I would spend a couple $100 and do it. If someone has to, spend $100-$200 to come power wash your house too, I would do that too. You want it to like, you want to maximize, you'll get the return back on that. I think, people are, they're attracted to what looks nice and smells nice, is clean, and people like that, when they're going to buy a house. So,
you should take some of those tips up though for your personal hygiene.
Stop. Yeah.
No, I didn't want to talk on this other topic. The topic of affordability out there. Let's say you're in a position where you cannot afford $1,500 payment, whether it's a mortgage or rent. You just cannot afford it. But housing is a necessity. So what do? You need a place to live, but you can't afford your living situation. And now I'm not going to get into work more hours and all that. I'm just talking about the house, talking from a realtor's a tip as a realtor, not as a parent or anything like that. Just first off, we want to touch on the house hacking thing, and that's exactly what Matt did. Not because he couldn't afford it at first, just because he wanted to reap the benefits of house hacking. So Matt, just run over again. What is the house hacking? What does that mean? There's a term people use, but what is it?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, you're just gonna buy. You can buy a 2-3 family unit. I always recommend just to do it 2. It's easy. There's just 2 units to deal with, but 2 separate living spaces in a house. Again, 2 family. You're just gonna rent out one, live in the other, and if your mortgage payment, it doesn't have to be like perfect, but if you have just make a $2,200 mortgage payment and you can get someone to rent out the top floor for $1,500, let's say. I mean, now you're only paying $700, and if there's 2 of you, you have a significant other, now you're really, you're only paying $700 plus utilities. I mean, that puts you in a really good financial position, pay off debt, save up money, and it's just, I mean, the market we're in, I think a lot of people are starting to think about that. I mean, if they're not, I think they really should be. Yeah. And another thing too, as far as like, if investing is a road you do want to go down, getting into a multifamily first for 3.5% is critical. Cause for example, like, I have a lot of friends too that bought single family homes, and then their second purchase, if they do want to, buy an investment property, they have to put 25% down. I mean, you're
looking at least needing $100,000 in your bank to touch something right now in a multifamily.
Yeah, and that doesn't include like you got to fix up
right.
some things maybe, or So I mean, it's a lot.
I mean,
it's a big chunk.
That's not a hidden, like, I knew I was making that mistake because I bought a single family first. Because of just family, wife, we all didn't agree. Whatever, it is what it is, but. If you can get a multifamily first, it is so beneficial to you. Buying a multifamily as your first home and then moving out of it eventually and then buying a single family if that's what you want. You put 3.5% down of the purchase price down as your down payment, you get the multifamily. Live in it for 3 years. Then you decide I want a single family. You can keep the multifamily, buy the single family home with 5% down. So you really 8.5% down. You put down over for 2 homes total.
Yeah, because you're gonna rent out. You rent out the other floor. I mean, it basically like, it's just that. I mean, even living, a single, even if you're saving money, it's gonna be hard to come up with $100,000. It's just
right.
Gonna be tough.
And like to continue what I was saying.
Yeah.
Is so you can either put essentially between 2 homes, 8.5% down. Now you have 2 homes. Or if you buy the single family first, you can put 3.5% down with that. Now, if you want to go buy the multifamily, you need to put 25% down. So that's a lot of money. So if you just do it the other way, it will help. And why buying the multifamily is helpful at first too, because given you bought your first property, things are tight, bills are tight. It's your first mortgage you ever had, so you want to be able to buy a home that's more affordable, and a multifamily does that for you. You know, you live in unit one, and then second unit above you or beside you pays you $1,500 or whatever the rent is every month, and you take their money and pay your mortgage. People come and like kind of continue divorce situations going on. The affordability's low. You're in a place where you could afford you could afford your bills because you had a partner. Now your partner leaves. Now you can't afford your place anymore, or whatever it might be. Look into the multifamilies because again, you own the home and you get the tenant to pay you their rent versus having to pay your mortgage. You're the landlord, you own the home, you live in it. The tenant next door pays you the rent, and then you pay the mortgage. It's just more beneficial equity wise and affordability wise.
Yeah, and you're just gonna, I mean, ultimately, depending on if you're going through like that type of situation, divorce or whatever, you can't afford a regular single family. You're gonna end up renting in one of those. It's you
Right.
you could end up in a complex. It's a little nicer, pay
Right.
more, but ultimately you're gonna end up in one of those units anyway, and then you don't own it. So, and like for me, like if I go and buy a single family home, saving up now, like I only got to put down 5%. I think I'll end up putting down a little more, but I only have to put down 5%. If you went and bought multifamily, you got to put down 25. It's a lot easier for me to get the single family next. So, yeah, I think buying a multifamily is, even if you're not into investing, if the situation allows it, obviously you got to look at, you have a partner or whatever, family situation too. You got to look at that, but if you're young enough, it works. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I agree. Just like I said, those multifamilies. Um, I mean, you could do so much with them. Even the matter of just buying them, letting them cash flow for 30 years. You get a 30-year mortgage, you buy a multifamily, you make $500 a month because you pay your mortgage off, you collect the rent, you have an extra $500, you put it in your bank. 30 years after doing that, you've made money, and then you can sell it. And you own the home entirely. You want to sell it. Let's say it's now worth $600,000, and you sell it in 30 years from now. You get $600,000. That money you can pay your kids schooling off, pay for their weddings. It's just
Yeah, it's
great.
going to be a lot of
Yeah.
stuff you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think too. Just one more thing. I know, like one of the clients I had, she bought a three family. She lived in it for a year. She moved out, but I know one of the tenants that was in there originally. I was talking to her. I did a rental for her after we closed, but she was telling me how she lived in that rental unit for 38 years, and like I couldn't help but think like 30. You lived in this. You could have paid this place off in 38 years. Had you decided to buy, and now you could be, well, one, living for free minus the taxes, and renting out the bottom two floors and actually making money. Now she's just in a spot where she can't afford, and she's got to move because the rent's going up. New homeowner, all that. So she's 80 years old. I doubt she wants to move. So
Right.
it's like it's kind of a tough spot. It's just again another just a lot of the benefits of home ownership in general, but multifamily specifically.
Yeah. Something else to chat about is you showing a first time. We're showing a first time buyer home. And they're a matter of, I asked them, do you have any questions? And their response typically always is, I'm not sure, I'm not really sure of the questions I should be asking. And it's a matter of me letting them know. I think, everything's covered. So what questions should they be asking as a first time home buyer? If you think of anything, let me know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a couple of things like, or at least while they're going through the house, I guess after you meet up and give them, just talk about some general information. I think when you're looking through the house, there's a lot of things. I mean, the condition of the house. I mean, you can really, some of the stuff is basic, but I mean, you can tell. I mean, we've done enough inspections and seen enough reports to have an idea, like, what's the age of the water tank? Are there, we notice like water stains on the ceilings. Like, I guess it's not even questions, but it's things we might
Things that you
notice.
look for.
Yeah, things we
Yeah.
look for. Yeah, is that if there's like stains on the ceiling in the kitchen or one of the bedrooms upstairs. I mean, is that a problem with the roof? You know what I mean? There's things that like we can visibly. Now again, we're not home inspectors, but there's things that we visibly notice. That's just a couple things, but I mean,
Yeah,
pretty
some
big list.
questions. Yeah, I mean, two different things. What you should be looking for, I would be looking just see if you like the home. Don't overlook it. Don't overthink it. Don't try and be a home inspector. Don't try and be notice things, little quirky things just to point it out. Just look through the home. Do you like it? Is there enough space? Is there enough closet space? Do you like the kitchen? Do you like the layout, etc.? Questions to ask. I would ask, do the appliances come with the property? Are there any offers yet? What's the age of the roof? Make sure the seller's disclosures are completed and available. So, are they uploaded? Do you have them? Can I have a copy of the seller's disclosures? Really, the boundary of the lot, give or so, kind of different things like that.
Yeah,
There's really, go ahead.
yeah. I was just gonna say, actually, it's funny. Those are a lot of good things. The layout that actually is huge because I had a client close probably last year on one, and I think he reached out to
The
me
one
the
in
other,
Providence.
yeah, the one in
Yeah.
Providence, yeah, and he reached out to me and he brought up the fact that he wants to sell now, and because there's no parking and there's no room to put his couch. I guess the living room is set up weird. It's new construction too, so but anyway, yeah, I mean, I guess the layout's not great. So I would say those are things you like layout especially. I mean, you can't change that, so you gotta like you got to envision where you're going to put stuff. I mean, that's huge because you can update cosmetics, paint the
Right.
wall, get a new fridge
Yeah, like
eventually, so
a tip for people with families with kids. You have a house, you want open floor plan. You're cooking dinner, you want to be able to see your kid playing. If you had a Cape style home and you can't see, or not an open floor plan home, and that you're cooking dinner and you can't see your kid, hopefully he's not up to no good. Hopefully nothing's in his mouth, whatever. But if you have an open floor plan, I can cook, watch the kid over there. I can cook. It's just much easier. So the floor plan is easy. Okay, it's important. You can't really change the floor plan too much, but like you said, you can change the paint. You can change colors of different things. So look past the cosmetic things. Look at the floor plan. Look at the flow of the home, and that's
yeah.
important.
I think too, just from the payments, I'm just getting into the loan side a little bit, but obviously talk with your loan officer, but make sure you're like not walking into houses because sometimes you can get pre-approved for obviously more than what you may feel comfortable affording. So I would just make sure you're not like touring houses that are just way out of your price. Even
Right.
again, even if you're pre-approved, because obviously people sometimes you can just shop out of your budget and it's not what you feel comfortable
And
with.
just
So
to touch on, so sometimes to see a property, the sellers clearly put in the realtor listing, buyers need to show proof of a pre-approval letter in order to make the appointment. So when I go and tell my buyer that, a lot of the times they're like, forget it, we don't want to see that one. But it's, we're pre-approved. Let them know we're pre-approved. And if they want the letter, we'll get it to them after we see it. It's like, no, why didn't you just give them the pre-approval letter up front? I don't get the game. I don't get that. So so pretty much if you want to start looking for homes in person, you need a pre-approval letter. I think that's fair to ask. You don't want to be, so if you want to see a house, one realtor's got to go, take time out of his day. The seller's realtor's got to go, take time out of their day. The seller has to leave the house, take time out of their day. Maybe the seller has a dog and has to take the dog in the car, take time out of the dog's day. There's a lot that kind of just has to happen to make that showing happen. And if you're not even pre-approved and you can't even afford the house, you wasted everyone's time. I think it's very fair to say in order to see a home, you need a pre-approval letter. That's my opinion.
yeah, I think a lot of and I had one client do this too. I think some buyers are kind of like maybe not. It was only one. I only have had it happen once, but I think they just think by giving the pre-approval, it's like, let's say they're pre-approved for 500 and the house is 400, and I think they're thinking like, oh, we can afford more, but it's like, a house that's $400,000, they're not going to expect you to pay
Right.
500,000. It's just they're not They're not stupid.
And to add to that, if you had a good loan officer or whatever who's ever looking out to you, realtor, you're gonna adjust the pre-approval letter.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
So
don't be worried about that too much. It's important right now to look at those pre-approval letters. You know, if you get a pre-approval letter and you see it and it's dated 3 weeks ago, I would suggest you have that client go get it updated. Because things have changed since 3 weeks ago. They might not be able to afford it. Like you even had a client text you today.
Oh yeah, I know. He like, because we had one of the deals that fell apart is a citizenship issue. Was that? Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. I had a few of them have fallen apart. So one of them actually
talking on getting the updated approval letter.
You
she attempted that today, and you got a text.
Yeah, and she, I got a text saying, like the rates are up now. Keep in mind, I've been shopping with her for probably honestly
a year and a half.
Yeah, since I started. So and the rates, I think when she was shopping they were like 3.5, 4. Now they're 7. So she was approved for a house out in the suburbs. Now she's approved for a condo closer to the city, and she's got pets. So it's like, it's good to get that up there. I mean, she went and did that on her own, but if she had reached out to me, I haven't heard from her in a few months, but if she had reached out to me, I would have contacted a loan officer and said, hey, what do we got going on? I know the rates are up. So is she still good to shop in that range? And again, she did it on her own, but things have changed drastically. So you don't want to be going and looking at. I'm not going to take her to go look at houses in the suburbs anymore. She can't afford that, which it stinks, but it's just a reality. So
takeaways for this week's episode: really, if you're sellers out there, just thinking of selling your home, look for experienced agents, people you get along with, declutter your home, make sure it's all smelling good before a showing and clean before every showing. Buyers out there, get your pre-approval letters updated, make sure you can still afford the homes or whatever you're looking for with the updated interest rates and things going on in the market. If you're out there as a first-time home buyer, I strongly suggest you look into buying a MultiFamily First and explore the house hacking technique. If you want to know more info on that, reach out to Matt. He'll be able to help you out. His information will be below in the YouTube channel description. That's all I got for you, Matt, this week. You want to add anything else? Or?
Yeah, I think that's about it. I was just going to ask, you got anything going on this weekend? Any spots in Rhode Island you want to recommend to people? For those
if you know me, you can't go wrong with a good coffee shop, which is lately's been Coffee Connection, as always. Coffee Connection. Yeah. But a little Brewology in there. Smithfield's always a good time. Brewology's a good spot. Tons of good coffee shops. But I'm a diehard Laura's Bar and Grill's fan.
Yeah, the place is good.
I think anyone who knows me a little knows Bar and Grill. Laura's Bar and Grill is my go-to. I don't really know what I'll be doing this weekend. Sunday's my dad's birthday. What will be watching the Patriots 2 on Sunday. Saturday we might get to Laura's. Of course. Tomorrow's Friday night. Probably gonna stay in with the Twinnies, but.
Good. Yeah.
How about yourself?
Laura's is good.
Going on this weekend, I hear.
Yeah. I got a date night. I still gotta plan the date.
Hey, don't say that. She's gonna hear it tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll make a reservation somewhere. Figure that out. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Little date night. Probably have a showing or two. That's about it.
Yeah. So we're going on episode 11 next week. We would like another guest here. So if you've watched this and you want to hop in. We'd love to have you talk a little bit about real estate, life, whatever it is. So thanks for everyone for watching.
And if you guys want to comment, give us feedback. Anything you think we're doing good or not. Comment below.
Appreciate it. All right. Thanks, everyone.